Continuing bondage, 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 bondage. And this is really the prophetic prophecy of the Israelites. There's no way around it. There's no way in front of it. I want to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah Kadash. Bondage, 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 bondage.
Hey homeowners, if you're thinking about selling,
Commercial, give me a second.
watch this before filling out any other forms, okay?
So when you dwell on the fact that the so-called Negroes, Latins, Native Indians, or Native Americans, when you dwell on the fact that these particular people are in fact the Hebrew Israelites and are in fact subject to the many blessings and cursings in the Holy Bible or the Holy Scrolls. And as you begin to awake, you begin to see it every day. And this particular scene right here in one of my favorite movies, which is The Matrix, Morpheus, he basically explains to Neo. And when you really look at this specific scene with a spiritual eye, the pineal gland, if you will, when you're looking at things through the spirit, you come to realize that the elect, Neo is the elect, Morpheus, Trinity, Morpheus, Neo, and the rest of them, they are like the elect. They have begun to awaken and see the bondage that they once dwelled in.
Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life.
And this is how the elect feel. This is really how the elect feel. Ain't no way to put it. The elect feel like this. What is that? Give me Romans. Romans chapter 11, verse 7 through 8. It says, "What then? Israel has not obtained that which he seeks for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded." And that's the 1/3 of Israel and the 2/3 of Israel, the elect and the non-elect. Romans 11:7-8, it says, "What then, Yashra'Allah, Israel, have not obtained that which he seeks for?" And what what is it that you so-called native Indians, Negroes, and Latins, and native Indians, Negroes, so-called Puerto Ricans, so-called Dominicans, so-called Colombians, so-called Brazilians, so-called Cubans, so-called Guatemalans, so-called Guatemalans, so-called Haitians, so-called Jamaicans, so-called blacks, African Americans, Negroes. What is it that you seek for? Well, you seek for the truth, 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 the truth. Why did your people come here on slave ships? Why did your people come here on slave ships? And why were they treated like chattel, like cattle rather? Why were they treated like cattle? Why were they subjugated to the situations that occurred? That was the southern kingdom. That was the southern kingdom of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And then the northern kingdom, the 10 tribes that were here in America, that dwelled in the Americas before funky Christopher Columbus brought himself over here. You had the 10 tribes that were dwelling here, known as the northern kingdom of Israel. Why were you northern tribes, why were you plucked out of your land and sold off to Spain and Portugal? Because the northern kingdom went into captivity before the southern kingdom. They were being shipped off, I believe, to Spain and Portugal. You know, you Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Mexicans, Colombians, Brazilians, Afro Latinos, indigenous, Tainos, you tribes. That go back to the royal regal Israelites. Why was your land plucked up? Why was Christopher Columbus and the rest of them, the Spaniards, sent to the Americas? Because it's all prophecy. It was all prophetic. You know, they these damn devils called it, you know, the Edomites. They called it manifest destiny or destiny manifested. However you want to go about it. See, the elect would think upon these things and wonder, why did this happen to his people? Who is his people's God? Why is his people in the predicaments that they are in? You know, in poverty. I mean, that's one big one, right? As a whole, these Israelites are in poverty. All 12 tribes, as a majority, are in poverty. If you work for money, you are in poverty. Wealthy, rich people do not work for money. First off, I'll say that again. Wealthy, rich people do not work for money. Their money works for them, or they have the assets and the riches, which is silver, which is gold, which is land, which is slaves, which is cattle. And that is riches. That is what Yahweh has esteemed as riches and wealth and prosperity. So I'll say that again for the third time. If you get up and work for money, you are poor. You are in poverty. You are a slave. You are a wage slave, debt slave. You are in bondage. And that goes back to the subject of this lesson that the Spirit has said bring out. Really, I had this lesson brewing for the last week. Slack. Bondage, bondage, bondage. So the elect, they see through they see through the BS. They see through it all. Romans 11:7-8, it says, "What then Israel have not obtained that which he seeks for, but the election have obtained it." Yeah, we are the neos. We are the neos. And the rest were blinded. They are the rest of the people that want to dwell in the matrix. Verse 8, it says, "As according as it is written, Yahweh has given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day." So that's the thing. Bondage, bondage, bondage. And I'm going to go into the specific bondages. I already dwelled on one. One bondage is that the Israelites went into captivity, the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom.
That there's something wrong in the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Matrix. Do you want to know what it is? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us.
See, in the elect, we are awakened through the Ruach HaKadosh, the Holy Spirit, if you will. The Ruach HaKadosh has awoken us. Really, we were predestinated according to prophecy. Let's grab Ephesians. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 4 and 5. It says, "According as he, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, has chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, and that we should be holy," which means set apart, "and without blame before him in love. If you love me, keep my commandments." And we know we're in this flesh, so we can't keep them perfectly, but as it says in Romans, just because we're under grace, Yahushai's blood doesn't give us the license to sin, to commit iniquity, to just go out there and free ball in iniquity. And just because we're under grace, Yahushai Hamashiach's blood, whom the people in the earth call Jesus Christ, just because we're under his blood, his grace, doesn't give us the opportunity to go free ball in sins and iniquities. That's in Romans 7:1. As long as as long as this soul, as long as you Israelites, as long as your Israelite soul is in this Israelite body, you are subjugated to the holy laws, commandments. And Romans 6, where it goes into what I said earlier, just because we're under grace doesn't give us the license to sin. And it also says that in another precept as well. It says Yahweh has not given anyone freedom to sin, roughly paraphrase. But the elect, man, the elect are the neos. We see through the bull-ish. We see through all of the bull-ish. Ephesians 1:5, it says, have predestinated us into the adoption of the children by Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, to himself according to the good pleasure of his will. Children of the light. Children of the light. Children of the light. Day walker. Day walker or day walkers.
Even now, in this very room, you can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
Bingo. So let's get into it. And what is that truth? That truth is that you so-called Negroes, Haitians, Jamaicans, African Negroes, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Brazilians, Mexicans, Colombians, Venezuelans, all of you tribes, most of you go back to the 12 tribes of Israel. You know, those of Hebrew Israelite descent. You are the Israelites that the Holy Bible speaks of. You are the forerunners of biblical prophecy. Biblical prophecy. And what has happened? What has happened is our ancestors, forefathers and foremothers, foreparents have put us in these predicaments and situations because they have transgressed the holy commandments. So the Israelites are under certain curses. And that's just the truth of the matter. That's just the truth of the matter. And these are the heathen nations, these other heathen Gentile nations. And they know this. Not only do they know this, these damn nations have taken crafty counsel. And they have taken crafty counsel. Psalms 83. Bondage, bondage, bondage. Psalms 83, verse 1, it says, a song of Asaph. It says, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. And they have said, come and let us cut them off for being a nation, that the name of Israel, the Israelites, may be no more in remembrance. Just for they have consulted together with one another. They are confederate against you, Yahweh. And the prophecies give you the names of these heathen nations that have taken crafty counsel against the chosen holy people. This is for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. So yeah, you know, just like they made that little, you know, the little treaty, the little meeting of all of the nations stand out of Antarctica. You know, all of the nations have come together and made a treaty, a meeting, or a proposal to stay out of Antarctica The same thing. This prophecy is telling you that they did the same thing with the Israelites. All of the nations have come together, consulted with one another to keep the Latins, the Negroes, the Native Indians, to keep them to keep them from waking up to who they historically, spiritually, and biblically are. But like I always say, no mortal can stop prophecy. No mortal can stop prophecy. No mortal can stop prophecy. It says the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab. It says in the Hagarings, whatever you want to call them, Jabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot Salah. So these nations have taken crafty counsel. They have been confederate against Yahweh. Now moving right along, moving back to more so towards the subject, bondage. And that's basically what that Matrix scene was. That's basically what Morpheus was telling Neo, that you are in bondage. Getting up, going to work, bondage. Getting up, working for fake money that's not backed by gold, silver, bronze, nickel, nothing. Bondage. Credit system, this system, that system, bondage. You're born in captivity. You're born in slavery, bondage. Now that's another bondage. That's that's two bondages. That's one bondage, being in bondage as a debt slave, as a wage slave. Bondage. Another bondage is what the Israelites, our ancestors, went through. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 27. Now the thing is, the kicker of this thing is Yahweh Shai, or Yahweh rather, the Father. He is the one that has put his children in bondage. How about that? How you like them apples? Microsoft. Yahweh is the one that put his children, the Israelites, in bondage. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 27, it says, and the Lord shall scatter you among the heathen. That's who the nations are, the heathens. And you shall be left few in number. These prophecies have taken their place and course over different time periods and eras, leading all the way up to this time period here. Deuteronomy 28:25, it says, Yahweh shall cause thee to be smitten, and shall be scattered among all the kingdoms, the heathens of the earth. That goes that special number, 144,000. It says Deuteronomy 28:64. It says, and Yahweh shall scatter thee among all the people, the heathens, the Gentiles, from the one end of the earth even to the other. Deuteronomy 29:28. And Yahweh rooted them out. Who is them? The Israelites. You so-called Negroes, Latins, Native Indians. Yahweh has rooted us out of our land, which is Jerusalem, Israel, in anger, righteous indignation, and cast them into another land. Why? Because you Israelites were going off. We were going off. Our ancestors, forefathers, foremothers were going off. They were not holding their end of the bargain, of the contract, the blood covenant. That's why the prophecies, did what they did. 1 Kings chapter 9, verse 7, bondage. So that's two bondages that I went into already. The one bondage is captivity, and then the second bondage is just being within a system that manifests bondage, wage slave, debt slave, fake currency, bondage. 1 Kings 9:7, it says, "Then I will cut off Yashrala, and Yashrala shall be a proverb and a byword among all people, the heathens." This is why they call you, even though they were calling us Niger or Niger in the Bible, but they call you the hard ER for you southern tribes. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, they like to call us the hard ER, right? And then for you northern tribes, Ephraim, Manasseh, not Benjamin, but Ephraim, Manasseh, Simeon, they like to call y'all savages. They like to call y'all, spics. And just to put it out there, they like to call us, the hard ER, niggers, right? Even though Acts 13:1, it's history. They was calling us Niger or nigger before. Nothing is new under the sun. Right? Right. 2 Kings 17:6, it says, "The king of Assyria, a heathen nation, took Yashrala, the holy nation, the royal regal nation, away and placed them in Halah and Habar." 2 Kings 17:18, it says, "Therefore Yahweh was very, very angry with the Israelites and removed them out of his sight." This is how we got scattered. This is how we went into exile, into captivity, because our forefathers and foremothers broke the blood covenant. Part 3.